today. In this episode, we take a look at some blue water cruising yachts. We look at what's been improved on Aeolus. We learn about the history of Caernarfon, our sailing base. We have a look at sailing in and out of Caernarfon Strait Quay. And we meet an amazing local musician. Recently, we've been to look at a few different yachts to see what could eventually become our future home when we set sail to go full-time cruising. We went to see a Hands 411, an Amel Sharkey, a Bruce Roberts Mauritius 43, a Bavaria 37, a Duffel 38, and finally a Dudley Dix 38. First of all, let's look at the Hansi 411. We love the interior of this incredible yacht. It was simply stunning and in superb condition. The deck space was absolutely huge. We loved the fact it had a self-tacking jib. We also liked the fact it had a bow thruster and had done very little serious work. But unfortunately, the keel and underwater profile was just wrong for us. Having a shallow draft keel is good for getting into shallow waters. We want something with a longer keel to make anchoring more comfortable. It was a similar story with the Bavaria and the Duffel. The Duffel we especially liked the double aft cabins. We intend to have family and friends to come and stay with us from time to time, so having the extra bedrooms would be great. But again, we didn't feel like the underwater profile of either of these yachts lent themselves to blue water sailing. The Dudley Dix, what a boat, just incredible. This was by far Dad's favourite. It's amazingly strong, having extra strength added to the bow and the keel plates when it was built in case of impact. Everything on this boat is perfect, but Mum didn't like the layout of the inside, and to be honest, it is way outside of our budget. The Amel Sharkey, on paper, looks perfect. The right boat at an amazing price. Amel Yachts have a great reputation as blue water cruising boats, and they're built to take on oceans, travel the world. This one was going for a fabulous price because it needs a bit of TLC. The headlining is a bit baggy, and some of the electronic bits and pieces need looking at. But that's great for us because Mum and Dad can fix all those things. Only trouble was, when we went to see it, it felt too small inside. We can see now why families tend to go for the Maramoo or the Super Maramoo, because the Sharky At 39 feet, it's just a little bit too cramped for the three of us. The Bruce Roberts Mauritius 43. This is a huge boat and a huge project. It's absolutely perfect for us because it's exactly the price we're looking for. There's exactly the right amount of work to make it a realistic project. Fortunately, the timing on this one was just wrong. When it was selling, we couldn't find the money. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. We're still keeping a lookout for the right boat, at the right price, at the right time. What's new with Aeolus? The weather has been terrible here. It's been a bit of a battle making sure Aeolus doesn't hurt herself on the harbour wall. We had the mast down for a while Dad and Chris fitted a new VHF antenna, a birdie, and a masthead unit for the wind speed and direction indicator. This is properly called an anemometer. An anemometer. An anemometer. It's really helpful because it will tell us if the wind is too strong to be sailing, when to think about reefing, and also giving us a good idea how close to the wind we can sail. We also fitted a more up-to-date depth sounder. The original one that came with the boat didn't work properly, so we replaced it and we got this one instead, which is a newer version. Dad was a bit concerned that he might have to put this transducer through the hull, but it turned out the one from the old depth sounder works perfectly fine with the new one. On top of that, my dad's friend Robbo from Performance Sail in Evesham made this awesome stack pack for the mainsail and repaired the spray hood, which had got a bit worn in places. The stack pack is brilliant because it means we can use lazy jack lines which stop the sail falling off sides of the boom when we drop the mainsail. Instead, it just falls nicely into the sail bag. We're currently thinking about whether to run the main halyard and the topping lift back to the cockpit. We have these deck clutches that we can use for that. There isn't much room to put another winch under the spray hood. Mum and Dad also made some new seat covers for Aeolus. Check this out. Caernarfon at the moment. This is an amazing town. The massive dominating feature of Caernarfon is, of course, the Caernarfon Castle. This magnificent castle was built in 1283 by Edward I. King Edward and his wife Eleanor had a son who was born in the castle in 1284, and he was named the first Prince of Wales in 1301. The entire castle was said to be guarded by a garrison of 40 men, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it was more than most other castles. By 1285, most of Caernarfon's town walls had been complete, while work continued on the castle itself. In 1294, a huge battle was fought between the Welsh, being led by Madog ap Llywelyn, and the English. The castle sustained heavy damage. The castle is an amazing spectacle and definitely worth visiting. But the rest of Caernarfon is lovely as well. There are some great places to eat. We particularly loved Cafe Mice on the square, and Mum and Dad liked going to the Black Boy for some posh food from time to time. Sailing from Caernarfon is great, although it can be a bit tricky, and to some extent which way you set out depends a bit on which way the tide is running. To start with, you have to get the bridge to open. To off the bridge, you need to sound your horn, 1 long and then 3 short blasts. Once you're through, you need to stick close to the shore, between the port and starboard markers. Be careful, because there's some stone slipways which stick out into the channel, which are pays to be aware of. Once you get to the entrance of Victoria Dock, the main marina, you reach the South Cardinal marker and can head east or west. If the tide is coming in, you will be heading east towards Port de Norwich and the Swellies at Menai Bridge. If the tide is going out, you can head west towards Menai, Fort Billan and Caernarfon Bar. If you head west towards Menai, it's a simple case of keeping between the port and starboard markers. At one point, there's a marker very close to mainland shore, and at half tide or less, you do need to go round that marker. But at full tide, you normally have enough depth to ignore that marker buoy. If you're heading east towards Britannia and Menai Bridge, before you get to Port de Norwich, just before Plas Menai National Outdoor Centre, you find there's a marker buoy right over the side of the Menai Strait on the island side, which looks really close to the shore. Then you need to go round it, really, if there isn't much water, but once you're at half tide or more, you can pretty much sail straight through the middle of the channel, all the way to Port de Norwich. It's worth mentioning that by Victoria Dock, the port and starboard markers switch direction, so you need to be aware of that when you're going into Caernarfon, depending on which way you're coming from. But all in all, we love being based in Caernarfon, the Menai Strait, despite its fearsome reputation. It's a beautiful place to sail with so many little gems to explore. Everywhere we sail, we look for interesting musicians and artists to meet so we can find out what they do.
Hello. Oh, sorry I'm late. Oh, don't worry, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. Tom, how you doing? You've got a fiddle. Hey, how you doing? Do you want to pass me a fiddle? Tom, nice to meet you.
You too.
You alright? Yeah, where have you driven from?
I haven't driven it, so I took the bus.
Right, yeah, you took the bus. From Moylvra.
From Moylvra, that's the one.
Ah. Yeah. Right, so, music. What do you play? What's your main instrument? I've seen you playing fiddle, I've seen you playing guitar, and I think I've seen you playing banjo.
Probably, yeah. I play all sorts. I started learning the piano, and it's a wonderful instrument, the piano. You can do everything except travel with it.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'd get frustrated. You turn up at a jam session, and you can't.
Now, what would you say?
I get most of my work on the fiddle.
Right.
But that sounds like I'm on the blag, doesn't it?
No, well, we're all on the blag. Musicians are we're always trying to get work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guitar I probably play most.
Really?
Because it's mellow, it's the nicest thing when you're at home and you just
It's easy to pick up, isn't it?
take out your violin, it's really intense. Yeah.
Yeah. About the instruments you play. Oh, have you got any particularly special instruments? What have you got? Are they is it just a cheap guitar that you got from a discount shop, or is there a history to any of your instruments?
No, I got them both in Australia. The guitar, I think I'd been playing the cheap instruments I got from shops for so long that.
What is your guitar? Let's have a look.
An accent or something.
Should we play a bit of music?
Yeah.
What do you want to play?
I don't know. Yeah. What do you fancy?
Anything you like. Pick whatever. If I know it, I'll play it.
Okay.
Do you want minor swing? Do you know it? 1, 2, 3. That's all right. Yeah, nice one. Yeah. Wow.
Should do it.
Wicked. Thank you very much for that. That was really good, Tom.
You.
Really enjoyed it. What a privilege and an honour to get to play with you, and I look forward to you next time. And I will try and get down to the club tonight.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah, go down well.
Get my ass handed to me there as well. Right, fantastic. Shall we have another brew before you go? Let's do it.
I've just opened this and I don't know how to close it.
Slowly.
Went to seagull nick my finger and I still like birds. Birds just awesome creatures. Yeah, it's a nice place, isn't it? Yeah, but it's a dead boat. It's a steel Bruce Roberts. Because my mum thinks that I'm going to be taller than her, my dad. You might find me weird sometimes. Because I am weird. And I'm a very bad cameraman. That's one of the things about me. I'm a bad cameraman. Australia! Wind channels. Oh! Magic. I'm holding up the camera with no hands. Ow! Okay, that actually hurts. Let's hope I don't fall downstairs this time. So, yeah. So if you do like this channel, please subscribe and click you like. Thumbs up means good. Thumbs down means bad. I hope you choose thumbs up. So yeah.